What is up, Interisti? Hope you are doing well. I'm sure we're all feeling kind of nice after that 5-0 win against Torino. But today, on the 27th of August, I wanted to go through some of the latest news and updates with you guys. And of course, we're going to have to cover this guy right here, Tomas Palacios, who looks like is not leaving Inter for the moment. But the main question of the video will be, are we bringing anyone in? So before we get into it, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. The first news actually I wanted to come up before the whole Palacios thing and then before any other transfer news is a congratulation to Inter's Primavera team who won the Supercoppa against Cagliari yesterday. And they are doing, Primavera continues to do what the senior squad couldn't do last year, which is winning trophies. And look how nice the kit looks, man, with this Scudetto patch right there, man. The pain, the absolute pain seeing that, because whatever you think of the kit this year, whether you like it or not, I like it, but I'm not too crazy about it for sure. But look how much nicer it looks with the patch there. Fuming, but hopefully we can amend that this season. But yeah, congrats to the Primavera team. Hope they continue doing well. Of course, some of these players we might see in the under 23 team, and maybe in the future, who knows, in the senior squad, because that is now the Oak Tree project. As long as they are at Inter, and how long are they going to be Inter? Hopefully, not too long, personally speaking. Anyway, speaking of the Mercato, Marotta. In my post-match reaction, I talked about his this interview that he did before the game against Torino, and by the sounds of it, to me, some people, I know Alex Rafa from the Interviews podcast, he saying that Beppe is playing coy, and we are going to bring in someone. As the days go by, I am not sure. It seems like they're not looking to bring in a defender. As he says, they're not necessarily. We'll see if there's any opportunities, but I don't see it. If a player wants to leave, we'll replace him, but I don't see any radical changes coming. So, is there any player leaving? Is he say if a player wants to leave? That is the question in terms of Tomas Palacios. He was on his way to Brazil as of yesterday. All the reports confirmed. All the main outlets pretty much confirmed 100% almost that this guy was on his way to Santos in Brazil, which was actually quite surprising. First, there were links to Basel in Switzerland, some Spanish teams as well, which I think it just made sense for him if you want to develop him for the future of Inter or to sell him on. It makes sense to keep him in Europe. But yesterday, the surprise news came that he was on his way to Santos for loan with an option to buy for 10 million euros, which was actually a lot more than I expected, with a sell-on clause in there. Turns out today, as per Sky Sport and Luca Bendoni, Tomas Palacios is having second thoughts about joining Santos. Flights were booked, but the move is stalled at the moment. Oh, and this is the thing with all of our players. They all either don't want to leave Inter or just refuse every single destination out there, like Aslani was doing at some point. And now Tomas Palacios seems to be doing with Santos, which is this one is a kind of understandable. You've moved from Argentina to all the way Europe. You've uprooted your life and family all the way to the other side of the world, and now you're going to move back, but not to Argentina, to Brazil, to Santos, and it's a loan with an option, which we know usually it's quite unlikely that the team takes up that option, especially a Brazilian team. They're probably trying to negotiate you down, even if you do well. So let's see how this develops. But if he doesn't leave, this is the issue that we're going to get into now. I don't think Inter are going to do anything because numerically, I think they think they're fine, which they probably are numerically. But that's the issue with this Mercato. Is just that I actually disagree also numerically in terms of depending on which role we're talking about. But just in terms of pure numbers in the squad, player for position, we have enough cover. Whether that cover is enough or whether the starting 11 has been pushed far enough, that is the question. And the other disappointing thing about this Mercato at the moment, if you go back to a few weeks ago, which was probably now last month really, when I made the Mercato or the Inter's budget prediction or the breakdown of Inter's financials for this coming summer window, how much Inter have to play with. This account, Enea Trapani, has done a great job. Instead of me having to update my sheet, he's done it here himself. Inter have actually managed, we're still actually 3 million less in terms of total squad cost, the amortization, the gross salaries, all of that stuff put together. And of course, this is not even taking into account the big saving Inter made from Christian Kivu's salary compared to Inzaghi, the new lower bond cost, servicing cost every year, interest saving money compared to last season on the books, which, in my mercato, in my budget video, what I was envisioning at least was, matching last season's cost, or maybe slightly increasing it this year, because we actually can this year, because it increased revenues. And if you try to keep the level that high, you can try to get to those revenue levels regularly. So this is another frustrating part about this mercato, where we've brought in players, but they're all been pretty much backup players. You can see Luis Enrique at the moment is a right wing back backup. Juve, definitely midfield backup. Petar Sucic maybe is a starter. And then Andrew Amboni is a striker backup. The starting 11 has not been pushed. The two centre backs that we know, they're both of their contract expire next season. Acerbi's contract, 1 year left on it. He's here. Stefan De Vrij, 1 year left on his contract. He's still here. Those positions have not been touched. And that is the continued frustration. I know people, especially after the 5-0 loss or win against Torino, people are like, oh, Interisti, some of you are exaggerating. Team is fine as it is. You're just crying for the sake of crying. My big frustration is that usually, you guys know me, I'm super realistic. I break down things, the costs, how things are looking, what Inter can actually do. This year, Inter could have done more and still can do more. Inter can still add more cost to this team. Inter still can buy more players. But Oak Tree, or whoever you want to blame, but it has to be Oak Tree at the end of the day, that takes the blame for this, because they dictate how Inter move in the Mercato, have decided to be cheap. Let's put it, let's say as it is. They've decided to be cheap. There were a few guys out of the parameters, like we said, like the Lukman, Manu Kone. One of those two signings, if it happened, was out of the parameters, which would have had to be approved by Oak Tree, and they were. We know that Oak Tree approved the first Lukman offer, which was around the 40 million mark plus bonuses. But after that, it looks like they weren't willing to approve anything further than that, and Inter gave up on that. And the Manu Kone, we don't actually know what the actual Inter offer was, but that was approved. Outside of the parameters, of course, we mean plus more than 25 million euros, which seems to be the roof at the moment with this new ownership. And in terms of, if we look at the squad right now, if we break it down, as I said, my frustration is with Diouf's signing, which is why I wasn't a big fan of it, not in terms of profile or whatever, just in terms of what we needed in the squad. What I've done here is put Inter's squad as a 3-5-2 as it is right now, with no duplication. So this is just putting one player per role. So a player here is not playing multiple roles, but we know that multiple players can play multiple roles. But if we're talking about numerically, position for position, where you want 2 player per position, there is a gap right now. Here, you could say that Bastoni at the moment is still backed up by Palacios, but we know that is probably not true. Even if he stays, he's very unlikely to even be part of the squad, or just, a very marginalized part of the squad at the moment, unless Kivu sees something in him. The Hakan, the vice Hakan position, as we've been discussing, we know, of course, Barella played there the other day. Sucic played there in preseason. We know Zielinski was played there a few times last season by Inzaghi. So there is actual cover there. But in terms of an actual vice Hakan, an actual CDM, especially long-term CDM replacement for Aslani, that was where I disagreed with the kind of Diouf move, because I feel like in terms of Mezzale, we already had enough cover, and I feel like there needed to be something made here. And if we move to the double pivot, then that issue is double, because if we're playing with 2 centre mids, then we have a lot of midfielders, too many midfielders, or some of these midfielders will be moved into the 2 behind the striker positions. But then that's, in my opinion, moving players out of position, or not really. I want to see it. I don't see how. Maybe for Frattesi, I can see it being beneficial, because at least he can just attack the space and not be too involved in play in the build-up and use his strengths. But I don't know how beneficial it will be to a Zielinski or a Juve or even Mkhitaryan at this age to play in that advanced role now, and for the whole team in general. So these are the positions where I am a little bit in disagreement with how Inter move in this mercato. Everywhere else, yeah, we are fine in terms of this back position. So yeah, if Palacios leave, this is where, by the sounds of it, Inter want to make a signing. The most recent rumor has led us to this boy right here, Yusuf Akicek, young Turkish centre back from Fenerbahce, 19 years of age, 1 meter 93, value 12 million on Transfermarkt. According to reports coming out of Turkey and some Italian ones, but these weren't very credible ones. Reports saying that Inter offered 16 or 17 million euros for Akicek. Fenerbahce have rejected it, say they want 20 million at least. Corriere dello Sport reported this as well, 16 million according to them. But from Italian sources, we actually haven't heard too much about this. We're hearing more from the Turkish sources, like here as well. But this source here doesn't even like put in it's a French source. It doesn't even put in what the source is, or French account. This one says that Inter offer 17 million euros plus 2 bonuses, but this one it says Fenerbahce 125. But anyway, if anything is going to be done, by the looks of it, guys, it is another Tomas Palacios type move, if you know what I mean, like another move to kind of fill that void. But we know in reality, Augusto can cover this role, right? We know Bisek can cover this role. If anything, Bisek actually said himself he actually prefers playing left centre back more than the other side. A left wing back, if Augusto has to play left centre back, we know that Luis Enrique, you saw the other day, he came on as a left wing back. He can play there as well. Matteo Darmian can cover all these positions as well. Matteo Darmian can also play there, but I'm not putting him there. I don't want to see Matteo Darmian as a right wing back this season unless we're literally holding on to a lead late on in the game. That's the only place I would want to see Matteo Darmian as a wing back. So that is how the squad looks at the moment. My hope is still that we do try to sign someone. I mean, yeah, there's Akicek, if Inter see him as a potential left centre back, but also as one of the potential options long term here, then bring him in. Because I think also Tomas Palacios was, I think in terms of profile, he's quite tall. He's not the quickest. So I think in terms of his profile, they were probably actually looking at Tomas Palacios actually being also a potential centre back option. But I think he just needs more playing time, more development. He's not quite ready yet. Hopefully, I'm not even like too keen on selling him. Like I want to see him being loaned out to a better team than Monza, where he can be a starter regularly, see how he develops, see how he plays. Because we signed him for a reason. He was quite heavily wanted by European teams. I know Leverkusen also wanted him when Inter signed him. So there must be a player there. It just needs some time and faith to develop. But that is the update up until now. Let's quickly scroll through Inter Extra if there's anything that I may have missed at the moment outside of the match updates from the other day. Let's have a look if there's anything that's going on in the world of Inter. Oh yeah, of course, the ongoing rumors about Piero Ausilio and Al Hilal. The rumors are hotting up. Alfredo Pedula says there's a 5 million. Wow, I need to change job. I need to get into sport directorship, sport management. He has an offer of 5 million plus bonuses per year, which obviously is net in Saudi Arabia. And his assistant Bachin apparently has an offer of 2 million. So they want to bring both Bachin and Ausilio after the window has closed, which, as I keep saying, I am very, very much open to. Oh wait, I wasn't even sharing the screen. Here it is, and here's the one that says both Bachin and Ausilio are wanted by Al Hilal to join Inzaghi. As I said, I'll be very, very open to this. Fresh ideas, especially with this new project. It needs, I think, a different person to look after it. Who scores gay team of the week has Zoma. I don't know why, he had nothing to do. Bastoni, Sucic, and Thuram, quite rightly. Very, very nice. Christian Aslani's goodbye message. I wish him all the best. Taremi. Sassuolo have inquired about Taremi. A very, very unlikely situation and very unlikely destination for him because they wouldn't be able to afford his salary. We probably have to pay half of his salary if he goes to Sassuolo. But again, are we going to manage to sell him? Probably not. Continuing on, Panathinaikos are also interested in Meditaremi. So we just need to hopefully find a place for our brother Taremi. But out of all the clubs interested, as per Sport Media Set, PSV are currently leading the race, even though their coach the other day said he had no idea about this. And big news, Pio Esposito will be called up to the upcoming Italy World Cup qualification matches. Good luck to Pio, very well deserved. And Thuram has also been called up to the French national team, but Pavard hasn't. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed that video. Keep on the lookout on the channel for upcoming videos, match previews, match reactions. You know the deal. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter.